Because you couldn't get
weak chest. I've been
pick
hit
it
down
up.
with it more.
That's what I was thinking.
Obviously not succeeded. She couldn't last time. She seems to have a wonky old computer and she has an awful lot of trouble with it.
Well, I had last week.
Shall we get going, do you think? Would that be in order? I think it is, because Chris is very uptight about sound, about the time today. It's 2:32 at the moment, and let's get on with starting this meeting. His hand will guide my throne and rod, and I'll never walk alone. No, I'll never walk alone. While I walk with good. Very few today. That's not surprising, because an awful lot of people watch it on replay now. Watch this on replay. And also, of course, the weather is so fantastic outside. I shall be going down to the marina in Eastbourne at 4 o'clock to a little favourite restaurant I've got there. So that would be lovely. What have we got for you today? We've got... Oh, we've got to do the magic mute, Lynn. The magic mute, Lynn.
Me?
Lynn, we've got to do the magic mute. We've got to do the magic mute. Would you do on there? Somebody else coming in. That's Janet. Hello, Janet from Thunder Bay in Canada. I'm very good at knowing people, but there we are. So let's, Lynn, would you do the 1, 2, 3?
1, 2, 3, mute.
And then we listen to the silence. Isn't the silence lovely? Oh, that's great. So, we have got a very good show for you today. The first thing we've got is the month I had last month. Very interesting. Very interesting. A terrific funeral I went to. It's good to be funny about funerals, but we have to be. Rosa TRALEE we've got, and then we got the old video diaries with lots of con in there, and then we got an interesting one which Janet will be interested in and Maura will be interested in, because they are Toastmasters, and it's a travelogue I did for Singapore, but I'll tell you all about that later. And then we've got I Write the Songs, one of Con's favourite songs. Then we got the birthdays, Lynn, so be ready with the birthdays. I hope you've got some for me. Then Chicago from our album Swinging Bachelors, which I personally loved. And then we got an interesting one. Pick a hat. That's going to be funny. And then Goodbye with Somewhere, which I've spent the last, say, 5 weeks doing. And I personally think it's the best thing we've ever done, Con and I, but I did it on my own. So there you are, Con. I don't need you anymore. Thank you. Goodbye. You go back to all these fantastic groups you're singing with now, and on you go. So, how was my month this last month? See what you think of this. Victoria went off to see the Northern Lights in Iceland, and she was lucky. Now, off to Iceland.
I'm off to Iceland.
And Daddy is driving you part of the way, isn't he? Not up to Iceland. No. And you've got a new coat, which is Vinted.
Juicy Couture. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Vinted is very good. And my hat is from somewhere else, don't know.
Primark.
No, not Primark.
Primani, yeah.
Primani.
Yeah. So you're going to enjoy yourself, yeah?
I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to be going to the Sky Lagoon, where I will be having lots of lovely warm physio in the water. It's all outside.
You're not going to drink too much, are you?
No.
You're going to look after your knee?
Yes, I'm looking after my knee. I will be taking my crutches with me as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Just to be on the safe side.
Well, have a good time.
Thank you very much. See you on the other side. Bye. Okay, I don't know if you can see this, but there is the Northern Lights. Look at that, isn't that incredible? Absolutely. Oh my gosh, look at it over there. Wow. The Northern Lights, ladies and gentlemen, the Northern Lights. Wow. If you can see me, that's me. Northern Lights, don't know if you can see the Northern Lights behind me, but there you go. Wow. Incredible. Look, there we go. Look at that. Wow. Beautiful.
And then the sadness. Bob Potter, his funeral at Lakeside. You probably know Bob Potter. He had the World Championship of darts every year at his club Lakeside for 40 years. And of course, many of us, all the huge stars, played Lakeside right through all the years. The biggest coffin I've ever seen in my life. It was huge, absolutely huge. Did you catch Rick Wakeman there? There he is on the left, in front of me. The eulogies went on for 2 hours. Rick did a beautiful eulogy. And of course, to finish it off was the great Jim Davidson. And that was the wonderful, most generous and dear friend, Bob Potter. For those overseas who wouldn't know who Bob Potter was, I think Lynn would know and Chris would know definitely. Linda and Catherine. No, really. Well, the World Championship of darts happened at his place every year, and that was for the last 40 years. So, of course, all the dart players were there. And Jim Davidson, again, people overseas wouldn't know Jim Davidson. He's probably, I would say, he's probably the biggest name in comedy in the country. Would you say, Chris? Chris? Yeah? Nod your head. Yeah, that's it. Go on. An amazing guy, very rude, and gets himself into such an amount of trouble. Nobody will talk to him at functions. He stands there on his own, and I'm probably the only one that will talk to him, or he'll talk to me, because he started with my band. First thing he ever did, major thing, was in Gibraltar, and we spent a week in Gibraltar there with the armed forces. It was hilarious, and I just couldn't believe, and none of us could believe, that he was the age he said he was. He was 21 at the time, because the comedy element and his delivery and everything was just so powerful. He was like a 60-year-old, really. But yeah, at the end of the whole funeral, after 2 hours of people coming up and talking, all the dart players were there. And Jim looked at everybody. He only did about 5 minutes, but very, very funny. And him and Bob Potter were dear, dear friends. Everybody knew that. And he just turned around to the coffin and he said, Bob, he said, what else can we do? What else can we do for a man? My goodness me. What else can we do? I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, why don't we all come up here and throw darts at the coffin? And it's so irreverent. That was just hugely funny. But my story about Bob Potter, we go back an awful long time. My whole career, really. And when we were #1 of the charts and all that, of course, we played Lakeside, which was one of the premier venues in the country. It was enormous, it was huge, it was near London. The history of it is fantastic if you look into it. And he was the first one of the major clubs that realised that artists are normal people. And we like to wash and we like to get ready nicely in a dressing room as nice as what we've got at home. Yeah? Very few venues understand that, but he did. And the dressing rooms backstage were fantastic. He had a fully stocked bar backstage for all the artists, with a guy serving the drinks and everything. It was tremendous. And there was a pass door to the left of the stage, and nobody was allowed out of there. No artist was allowed out of there in makeup. And that was a strict rule, and he always had it. But me, I wasn't married at the time. I wasn't married. I was a young, lusty lad. And of course, on the Monday night, first thing I do, out the pass door to try and see, as Chris would know, see, could I find a likely lady who would make me a lovely wife for the future? Who was coming up the other way? Bob Potter. He looked at me and he said, "Get back in there, get back in there." And he threw me back in, and he never, ever booked us again. And he became a companion rat of the Grand Order of Water Rats with people like King Charles. King Charles is a companion rat. Prince Michael, loads of people like that are companion rats. But he became a companion rat, and then we became very, very good friends. I was probably one of the only ones who would ever buy him a drink. There's people like that with so much money, because he was an extremely wealthy man. Everybody expected him to buy all the drinks, and he did. But I was the only one. And Jim Marshall, you hear me talk about Jim a lot. Jim Marshall, the same. I'd always go up to Jim and buy him a Lefroy Scotch. Chris would know about that, Lefroy, a very, very good Scotch. Chris, do you drink Lefroy? And open up there and tell us, what's your favourite Scotch?
Right, well, I used to drink quite a bit of Scotch, but in the last decade, I've gone on to gin, like many people have, would you believe? Yeah. And I enjoy a lovely gin and tonic, particularly since Fever Tree tonic water came on the scene. It just adds that little bit of something, and particularly at this time of year as well, when it's nice and warm, there's nothing better to start the evening off with a nice gin and tonic.
You're absolutely right about that, because I love a gin and tonic myself, but I'm telling you this, I don't like Fever Tree tonic.
Do you not?
No, it's too strong a flavour, and it just. I had a gin and tonic yesterday. I was out walking, and I called into a friend's hotel, had a gin and tonic, and I said to them, "Have you got anything else but Fever Tree?" And all the pubs now, it's all Fever Tree.
It is.
And it was just awful. I said, no, it clouds the taste of the. I like Bombay gin.
Yeah.
And it just clouds the taste. But here's a good one for you, Chris. Ask for Marlesh. M-A-R-L-E-S-H. M-A-R-L-E-S-H. Yeah. It's becoming hugely popular, and it's more subtle than Schweppes, and it just allows the gin to come out. But let's get on to some songs. And one of Con's favourite songs was, and he loved singing it, was this one. It's the Rosa Tralee, and I hope you like it. You can tell that Con loved singing this.
Rising above the green mountain, the sun, it was setting beneath the blue sea. As I walked with my love by the pure crystal fountain that stands in the beautiful vale of Tralee. She was lovely and fair, like a rose in the summer. It was not her beauty alone that won me. Oh no, 'twas the truth in her eyes, ever shining, that made me love Mary, the rose of Travelogue. The cool shade of evening around me was spreading. Mary, all smiling, sat listening to me. The moon through the valley, her pale rays was shining. When I won the heart of the rose of Tralee, she was lovely and fair, like a rose in the summer. It was not her beauty alone that won me. Oh no, 'twas the truth in her eyes, ever shining, that made me love the rose of Tralee.
A round of applause. Con, are you watching? Con, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Come on. Look. They love you. They absolutely love you. Isn't that terrific? And there's Maura who loves her as well. How are you, Maura? Where are you speaking from? You're speaking from...
Ireland.
From Ireland?
Yeah.
Where are you in Ireland? I didn't know you were in Ireland. You've got an Irish name, I know that, but you're Italian.
Yes.
I know that as well. And you're and listen, ladies and gentlemen, when she starts talking, you can't shut her up. Am I right, Maura?
Yes.
You're absolutely gorgeous, Maura. Gorgeous, Maura. But listen, let me get on. What's next? Here we go. Oh yeah, everybody loves the video diaries because it shows strangely what life was like.
Well, the only house on the whole road that's got anything patriotic. So it's, well done, Victoria. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. All the way along, nothing, and boo. Then my roundup of my MasterChef attempts for this month, last month. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? That's my favourite, actually, prawns on avocado. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? You could eat it all up. I adored doing it, and eating it was even nicer. That was a large piece of cod loin, very unusual, done with asparagus and with the Maltese sauce. It was quite delicious. Sandy enjoyed it as well. This one was unusual. This was some black pudding and white pudding from Ireland, and I did them with a very, very unusual creamed potatoes. Creamed potatoes done with onions and parsley, coriander. This was, what was this? Oh, I think this was, I think prawns again. This was, just from memory, a loin. Yes, this was a pork loin, and it was done with the rest of the black and white pudding on top. This, what will I get a close up of it? Come on, close up. You're next. There we are. Oh, that was a ribeye beef, which is 3 different cuts of beef in one. That is, again, I love that prawns on avocado so much, I did it again. And I did it this time in a bed of, that's all unbelievable types of herbs, coriander, tarragon, all sorts, just chopped up very fine and mixed with onions, sweated onions. I enjoyed doing that. This was again pork loin, very popular at the moment, pork loin. Sandy wanted something simple, and of course this was my favourite, but unfortunately this was in the Pomodoro restaurant.
From a white oak tree, boy, hang down your head, son. Do hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, son. Do oh boy, you're bound to die. Hang down your head, son. Do hang down your head and cry. They don't know it. Oh boy, you're bound to die. Well now, boy, hang down your head, son. Dooley, hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, son. Dooley, oh boy, you're bound to die. Oh boy, you're bound to die. Oh boy, you're bound to die. Oh boy, you're bound to
Thank you.
We got Neil up there on the sound. Thank you, Neil.
And Amanda, and everybody. I'm Jack.
And I'm Con. We're Con and Dec, the Bachelors. Good night.
Now look at that, isn't that a lovely guitar?
It's a beautiful guitar. You know, I got that for nothing, would you believe it? I went into the shop in Soho, in London, and the guy in the shop said,
Dick Twidell.
Dick, this
Dick
has just
Twidell.
come in. This has just come in from America. Would you like it? And I said, I'd love it. So anyway,
You put it in your pocket.
I put it in my pocket, and there. I tell you what, because a couple of days later, we went off to Europe to do a TV show. And when we come back, I was coming through customs, and the guy said to me, "What have you got there, sir?" I said, "It's a guitar, a new guitar." And he said, "What is it?" I said, "It's a Blue Ridge guitar." "Where did you buy it?" He said. I said, "I didn't buy it. I got it for nothing in London from a friend of mine." And he said, "You're telling lies because that guitar hasn't come into England yet." I said, "Yes, it has." I said, "and that's the first one." So then he challenged me and said, "Has the VAT been paid on it?" I said, "I don't know." So the next thing, I was surrounded by all sorts of police and everything. But I had to sign a load of documents, and then he gave me back the guitar, and I've had it ever since. And there it is there now.
And there is the beauty.
Blue Ridge.
All guitar players lust over that,
Oh
don't
yeah,
they?
they
Don't
do.
Don't
Do.
So we say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah.
And this beautiful theatre.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful theatre. It's the, what's it called? The Key.
The Key.
Theatre in Peterborough.
Yeah,
And this is
absolutely.
what it looks like when we've finished. It's wrecked. So we'll...
and we got a standing ovation.
Oh, standing ovation.
Right.
So we'll see you next month, okay?
See you next month. Bye.
Bye.
You must remember this. A kiss is still a kiss. A sigh is just a sigh.
Silly boy, silly boy. Shall we get on to the next thing? I did a very interesting, Maura would be interested in this, and Janet would definitely be interested in this, for Toastmasters in Singapore. They asked me to show what Eastbourne was like, where I live. And so I put together this, and it's really for the people in Singapore, but I think you might enjoy it. And I think after you see it, that you'll come and spend some time in Eastbourne. It's rather a lovely town. And just see what you think of Eastbourne.
Oh, Mickey, you're so pretty, can't you understand?
Wow, what can we tell you about Eastbourne?
Oh, Mickey,
I bet you won't see those very close to a city centre or a town centre, but you do in Eastbourne. And there is Eastbourne by the sea. 74 miles from London. Lots of views, lots of walks. It's a beautiful, friendly and healthy place to live. Sun shines most of the time. And of course, there is the lovely town by the sea. Town centre is typical English. Red post boxes, pubs on every corner. And the Victorian train station, quintessentially British. The mall, shopping centre as we call them. Very nice, does this job. And the bunting is left over from a coronation of King Charles III. We love our coloured buses. And buskers all over the place. Can you hear them? And then the walking. Oh, walking on the downs. Up the downs, as we say. Hills everywhere. The intrepid walker. Up, up, up. You seem to go up, up, up forever. Up, up, up. And of course, with the downs and with the hills, you get the inevitable windy roads. They are dangerous, so be careful if you're walking. Look at this. Be careful, 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 careful. If you go down on the front, as we say, that's what we say for the seaside or the beach, you will see probably one of the biggest wheels you've ever seen. We're very proud of that one. Of course, after you've been on the wheel, what better than English fish and chips in Eastbourne? Oh, run by a Chinese couple. Absolutely the best fish and chips I've ever tasted. Wonderful.
Thanks a million. Thank you.
And of course, you've got to eat the chips out of the bag. And you can have a pie if you like. I like pies. And then the fish is so big you can just cut it in half. You don't have to have Sarson's vinegar on it. You can put mustard. Do what you like. It's English fish and chips. And by the way, when we get visitors over from, say, Brisbane in Australia, we just take them to one of the seaside restaurants and show them the view and the amazing food and the lovely surroundings.
So, Peter, what did you think of the food? English food?
Yes.
Now, be honest.
Or another.
2 minutes.
All right, I'll see what I can do. What do I think of the...
And of course, when we've finished feeding them, we bring them up to Beachy Head. Wow! And then show them the countryside all around Beachy Head. They are shocked. If they're not amazed by then, we show them the architecture. Look at that one. Wow. And this is my pile. I love it here. 5 of us own this place. It's It's a lovely plaid. It was built originally by the Duke of Devonshire for his mistress, would you believe? An amazing place, built in 1905. I love it. Five of us own it, and I own the whole top of it. So all that top where the views are, where my studio is, that's what I own. And there we are, Eastbourne. Would you like to live here? Would you like to come here? Would you like to visit here? Come on!
Oh, Mickey, you're so pretty, can't you understand? Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Mickey, hey, Mickey, oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Mickey.
Maura, just open your mic there for a second. There's one thing in there which the people would be confused about. Peter Roberts was over from Brisbane, and I took him to that restaurant with his wife Sharon. And what I did was I filmed a little bit of Peter for his club back in Brisbane Sunrise. And just explain to him, why did I say to him, I asked him a question and then I said, you've got 2 minutes. What's that all about, Maura? Table topics.
Well, table topic is when they give you an unexpected question that you will not imagine what it will be, and it's like life. You need to answer in relation to what you have. So imagine somebody launches you a question and you need to answer. You have 2 minutes and you need to give your best with your introduction, body, conclusion, following with your experience, your knowledge, and to give your best, showing your body language, your vocal variety, showing who you are on the screen or you are in person. I love table topics because it's like life. You will not know what you will expect it, but you need to have the challenge and do your best.
So now you know Maura can talk for England or for Italy. I love Italy, Maura, by the way. I love it. I love Brindisi, places like that. What's the place? Oh, Barry. Is it Barry? Down the bottom? Down the bottom, yeah. I can remember drinking. We did a tour of Italy once. After we did San Remo, we did the San Remo Song Festival. You know that. And all the English acts that were on and the American acts were very, very annoyed with us because they came nowhere. And there was people like the Hollies, Connie Francis, Neil Diamond, who I got very, very friendly with, and we became good friends. Loads of people. Claudio Villa won it that year. And we had 3 in the final top 10. And none of the American acts and the English acts had anything at all. And Bobby Goldsborough, and darling, I love him, and I love him so. You know that one. Bobby Goldsborough and Neil Diamond, we were staying in the same hotel, and Con and I used to stay up all night with them singing Barbershop Quartet. Can you imagine? Neil Diamond, Bobby Goldsborough, and the 2 of them were, as I say, crying in their beer. They couldn't get a hit. They were actually over there, really, trying to sell their songs, and they couldn't sell anything. And Neil particularly, he was a very morose, depressed sort of a person. That's why he writes such great songs. And the state they were in, and the 2 of them went back to America and within months had massive #1 hits. Isn't that amazing? And that was from San Remo. But we did a tour then, because we released an album with, saying that we had 3 songs, we released an album with the 3 songs on it, obviously, all in Italian. So I had to learn to speak Italian, Maura. I did, yeah. I learned to speak Italian. That was the idea. And Con was supposed to learn Spanish, and John was supposed to learn French. And of course, who was the only one that learned to speak anything? Me. So I've got a little bit. Può portare una bottiglia di vino blanco, por favore. Do you like that?
Bravo. Sí.
Yeah, sí.
Certamente.
Adesso. But yeah, that's a great one. And one of my best friends, Giovanni Di Stefano, is Italian. He's over there now. And he wants me to do some videos with him for Netflix, would you believe? So that's the next epic journey I'm on. But we did this tour, and this lunatic guy, promoter, got us to do this tour, and he rented what was at the time one of the top sports cars. It was a Fiat 2300, Chris. I think I'm right in that. And he absolutely, in 1 week, wrecked it. But we ended up having dinners and lunches with the mafia. It was unbelievable, the whole thing. And in Barry, there's a pier in Barry, and I can still remember standing on the end of the pier in Barry, and we were drinking Sambuca, which is an Italian liqueur. And what we were doing was just drinking, and like shots today, unheard of in those days, like shots going on, salute, what? And then throwing the glasses over the pier into the water. I mean, it was mental, the whole thing, absolutely. And we went to another place, you may know where it is, where they had a ship on dry land, a ship, and the ship was the restaurant. I don't know where that was, but it was absolutely fantastic. But shall we get on to some more music? One song that my brother and I adored singing, we went absolutely huge on stage all the time, was this next one. It's a song called I Write the Songs. And this was one of those enormous songs. We knew that every time that we sang it, we were going to get a standing ovation, and it was a tremendous song. Here is I Write the Songs.
Been alive forever, and I wrote the very first song. I put the words and the melodies together. I am music, and I write the songs. I write the songs that make the whole world sing. I write the songs of love and special things. I write the songs that make the young girls cry. I write the songs, I write the songs. Oh, my music makes you dance and gives you spirit to take a chance. And I wrote some rock and roll so you could move. Music fills your heart, well, that's a real fine place to start. It's from me, it's through you, it's from you, it's through me. It's a worldwide symphony. I write the songs that make the whole world sing. I write the songs of love and special things. I write the songs that make the young girls cry. I write the songs, I write the songs. I write the songs that make the whole world sing. I write the songs of love and special things. I write the songs that make the young girls cry. I write the songs, I write the songs. I am music, I write the songs.
There he is, up in heaven. Aha, looking down. Did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy that? You are all applauding like mad. Con, isn't that wonderful? We got the applause and everything for I Write the Songs, and Con did really well. There we are. Now, let's get on. I have to shout very loudly. I'll mute while I shout. Hold on a second. Okay. I've shouted for my lovely assistant. Lynn, over to you, Lynn. Over to you, Lynn. What have you got in the way of birthdays for us today?
Well, we've got one birthday tomorrow for Joan Curley. She's not with us today.
Joan,
She'll be
yeah.
86 tomorrow.
Whoa!
And then Tuesday is your lovely granddaughter Layla.
That's right. She is 16.
Yeah. How's she getting on with her GCSEs?
She's doing them at the moment, and seems to be.
Finished them yet?
Seems to be. No, just a second. Yeah. Okay. My assistant is here now. So Layla, and then anybody else, Lynn, at all?
Not for June. No.
That's it. Okay. So let's sing. Happy birthday to you, Joan and Layla. Happy birthday to you, Joan and Layla. Happy birthday, dear Joan and Layla. Happy birthday to you. And Maura wouldn't know this, and I think Janet might know that, but I have these cakes made in some astonishing places. This was actually made in Thailand. Yeah, I got this from Thailand, actually, and it was flown over. Now, you know those big inflatable balloons? It was actually flown over in an inflatable balloon, and they came and they landed right. You remember that wheel that you saw in the Travelogue? They landed on top of the wheel and brought it all the way down. My assistant is annoying me. All the way down and brought it up here. So here we are. So this is for Joan and for Layla. And Lynn, could I ask you possibly? Oh no, we get somebody different. Carol, would you unmute yourself there? And you know how to do this. You just go 1, 2, 3, and you blow. Okay. So here we are. So it's happy birthday to Joan and to Layla. And over to you, Carol.
1, 2, 3.
Ha! You got there in the end, didn't you? Did you like that bit of magic? How about that, Maura? Oh, that's great. That's great. So there we are. That's the birthdays out of the way. And Con and I, we looked at people like Robbie Williams, and lots of the artists were doing them. I can't think of the other. Oh, there's loads of stars were doing these swing albums. So we decided that we would do a swing album. And we really enjoyed it. Con was in his element. But tremendous stuff. And this was one of the songs from the album, which is just coming up now. It's Chicago.
Ah, yeah. I like it. Yeah, swing it, baby. Come on. Hey, Chicago, Chicago, that toddling town. Toddling town. Chicago, Chicago, I'll show you around. You love it. Bet your bottom dollar you lose the blues in Chicago. Chicago. The town that Billy Sunday could not shut down. And on State Street, it's a great street. I just want to say that they do things that they don't do on Broadway. Hey, they have the time of their life. 'Cause I saw a man and he danced with his wife in Chicago, Chicago, my hometown. Hey, Chicago, 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 that toddling town. Chicago, Chicago, I'll show you around. And you'd love it, bet your bottom dollar you lose the blues in Chicago. Chicago, the towns that Village Sunday could not shut down. And on State Street, it's a great street. I just wanna say that they do things that they don't do on Broadway. Hey, they have the time of their life. 'Cause I saw a man and he danced with his wife in Chicago. In Chicago, Chicago, my hometown. Chicago, my hometown. Yeah! Yeah, I love it, man.
Oh, and can we see the applause? Where's the applause? Where's the applause? Con, look at the applause. They love it. They love it. They love it. That's marvellous. Thank you so much. Can you imagine the fun we had recording that? That was the greatest fun. We did about 16, 18 tracks, and every one of them, we had a hoot recording. They were really terrific. So now we've got a few minutes, and Maura and Janet, I'm going to do something that I've never done before. I have got a suitcase full of hats right there. I can put that camera down there. Can I put that? Wait now. Can the camera see it? Wait now. There we are. Look, I've got a suitcase full of hats. Now, I want you, I got to go like this, and you go left, right, left, right, 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 left, right, right, and then I pick, that picks a hat, and then I'll tell you all about what that hat means to me. Is that a good idea, Maura? Okay, Maura, you go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right. Can we left, right, 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 right. Left, 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 left. Okay, left. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we stopped. Okay, this one. Yes. Okay. You couldn't have picked a better one. Now Chris will like this. Chris will like this. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? This hat, believe it or not, is the hat that I was married in. And I always say to people, when you put on a hat, here's a good trick, Linda and everybody watching. You tap it and tip it. So you do that, you put it on, you tap it, and then you tip it. And that's the correct way to wear a hat. Every time. And that I gave that advice to some people going in for the World Championship of Public Speaking, and they took it. It's lovely. But that's it. But this hat, believe it or not, was my wedding hat. I went to Harley Street, would you believe, and had the full tails done. Can you imagine how much that cost? It cost an absolute fortune. And I got very annoyed at my brother Con, who was my best man, and my partner John, because they wouldn't spend the money they hired. And I had no idea. I was 26, I think, at the time. I had no idea that people hired that stuff. And of course, everybody hires nowadays. And I should have hired, really, but I didn't. I bought this, and I've never worn it since. I've never worn this. You can see it's in the box. Never wear it. But you can imagine what the wedding was like. I had a lot of celebrities there, which was terrific. We got married in the town of Stanford-le-Hope, which Lynn will know about probably, and probably Catherine will know about that. The whole town was shut off by the police. It was cordoned off. The whole town was shut. There were just if you see the photographs of thousands and thousands of people. But this is, and I had my vintage Bentley, 1929 Speed 6 Bentley, open Le Mans Tourer. Some car. It's in I have it in a museum now. But we arrived in that with a friend of mine driving it. So you can imagine this big green Bentley with the handbrake on the outside and all that. It was just an amazing sight. The photographs are terrific, as Lynn will well know, because she's seen them all. It was terrific, and that's the story about this hat. And that's probably about 2 minutes, Maura, I would say. And for Janet, because in Toastmasters we've got to speak for 2 minutes about a subject. So there we are. And if you ever want to borrow this hat, Chris, just let me know, okay? I can put it in the box. I can send it down to you. You can have the suit as well. It might fit you. You never know. There we are. So now let's get on to probably the final track. This last track, as I say, is 5 weeks I've been recording this. It's quite an amazing track. Colin and I have been doing this. Well, I actually stole it. I always openly admit to people, I'm not the most inventive person in the world. Although people argue with me and say, no, Dec, you are. You're very inventive. I suppose I am. But I say to people, why create mediocrity when you can steal genius? And I've spent my whole career stealing genius. I steal ideas, but everybody else does that. Beethoven did that, Stravinsky did that, everybody, Gounod, everybody stole ideas. That's where they title their stuff Variations on the Theme by Paganini. That's what that variations mean. They stole it. So I steal things openly. My wife loves Il Divo. Unfortunately, just like me, they lost Carlos in exactly the same way as I lost Con. He got COVID just before the most recent tour, and he was dead just like Con in 4 days. Unbelievable the way it happened. Totally fit, dead 4 days. So my wife loved Il Divo, and one of their big tracks in the show that they did was Somewhere. So I convinced Con. He was easy to convince. He believed everything I said. I said, Con, there's something that we should steal. It goes enormous. And from the first time we did it on stage, all the fans will tell you, it was the biggest thing in the show. In fact, even the guitar solo, which you'll see in a minute, which was 4 bars, exceptionally short, that would even get a standing ovation in the middle of the show. But I decided that I'd recreate it, again, stealing it from Con, recreate it, and I would do all my magic to it. So here is the great, the wonderful, the marvelous, and here we go.
Place for us, somewhere a place for us, peace and quiet and open air, wait for us somewhere. There's a time for us, someday a time for us, time together with time to spare, time to learn, time to care. Someday, somewhere, find a new way of living. We'll find a way of forgiving somewhere. There's a time for us, someday a time for us, time together with time to spare, time to learn, time to care, someday. Somewhere we find a new way of living. We find a way of forgiving somewhere. There we are. Let me see how I did. How did I do? How did I do? Let me see. Let me see the applause. Maura's going mad. Carol's going mad. Look at that. Catherine going. Linda's going crazy. Chris is smiling away. That's marvellous. That's terrific. And Adrienne going bananas. That's terrific. Con, I don't need you any more. I did all that solo. Me on my own. But I enjoyed that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being so kind to me. And that brings us really to the end of the show. But there we are. And the next show is on the 2nd of July. I hope you can make it. Bring your friends, and we'll have a wonderful time. And I think I'm going to dream up something else to do with the hats. I love that hats idea. And I'm off now to do a speech. In fact, I'm running the whole meeting tonight in Brisbane in Australia. We're very lucky, Maura and Janet and I. We get to go all over the world. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, think about joining Toastmasters. It's marvellous. I was in, where was I yesterday? Lagos, in Nigeria, speaking. Tonight, I'm in Brisbane. I love Brisbane. I've been there many times. Did 17 tours of Australia, we did. So I love Australia, but there we are. So listen, thank you very much for listening to this Irishman, this idiot Irishman. Ladies and gentlemen, as I say, thank you for listening to me. I am honoured and deeply grateful to let me just enjoy myself like this. So see you on the 2nd of somewhere we find a new way of living. We'll find a way of forgiving somewhere. There's a time for us. Some